Hi, Haraway.
Hello there.
Thea and I are here. She's visiting me in Texas. It's very cold today, even though it was 87 degrees a few days ago. This is apparently Texas.
Texas is how it goes.
So we're a little crooked here, but we got to make this quick. So we've been talking, and the theme of our conversations kind of keeps coming back to listening. We'll get to that. Basically, kind of in the context of the fact that a lot is looking very different to people these days. People are moving a lot right now. They are making choices in their lives, changing things that they didn't realize they were going to want or need to change. But people are finding themselves having to make some very tough, big choices about whether to remain working where they were working, doing the same kind of education, the same kind of schooling as they were doing for their children, living in the same places that once they thought were absolutely their home, which no longer is fitting them given things going on in the world. And in that context of having to make these choices, and the fact that the pictures we had for our future, for our children's future, for the environment that we're living in, that's changing. So we don't have those same pictures to move toward. We're having to find new pictures.
And those pictures aren't holding us in the same way that they once did.
Yeah. Different, our motivations, some of our motivations are changing. We're re-examining our motivations for the choices we've made in our lives. And I mean, on a very superficial level, we were raising our kids in California, loving it in every way, never expected to want to move. Figured we'd leave our house to our children, and who knows, to their children. And that has changed very much because different
places.
Let's go with place.
Well, place. Just thinking of the fitting, the quality of, it's a word, resonance. Like if we're no longer resonating with the place that we're in, those avenues are no longer flowing with the external place and our inner space and place and culture
and growth,
mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If our environment isn't meeting us in a way that facilitates a flow mm-hmm. forward, we've got to take a look at that. And even though it was absolutely gorgeous and beautiful and on the surface at first,
in material ways,
everything
right?
We wanted,
mm-hmm.
Very comfortable, it wasn't comfortable on, quite frankly, a deeper level, mm-hmm. a more meaningful level for our family. So go ahead.
Well, and I'll just tie, like, one of our initial talks, I think we talked quite a bit about image versus essence. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of it again.
Yeah.
Here it is, here's that inner space that is really what gives meaning to life and purpose in life. And when that doesn't have a place to be moving, meeting, flowing, then it isn't inhabitable.
Yeah. It's untenable at a point. And people are going through a different process of kind of coming to terms with that, because it goes up against I'm in, still in some of those leaving California sites or moving to this, moving to that. And people keep asking, I want to move because of this and this and this, but gosh, the weather, gosh, this, and it's because those were the things that drew us. And it's kind of hard, to redefine it all for ourselves and realize, well, yeah, sure, the weather, but is it that important to us at this point, right? I'm loving it here, by the way, in Hill Country, Texas, anyway. I love it, love it, love it. When I got my Texas driver's license, I felt the same way I felt when I got my California driver's license. Like I have arrived, so it's fantastic. If anybody's looking, check out Hill Country, Texas. Anyway, or anywhere, right. But so in that, what we have to find is a different North Star, I suppose. And I'd say that North Star is always there for us.
Inner star.
And we can interpret. I think our inner star connects to the outer. Our inner star connects to the outer star. Is our inner star, is our inner voice, the voice of God? Is that spirit the voice of God? A spirit of wisdom that we all have access to, that we often don't listen to or don't heed.
That I would say even the outer world, from my experience, hasn't brought with reverence or the importance of that inner voice as much. It's been more, and this is my journey, right, too. So I can't speak for others in that way of, has that quality of listening to that quiet tuning instrument. We've spoken about this in other talks too, that gives resonance. You can sense when the way is open or the way is shut. And the more I'm noticing over these years, listening more and more to that voice, that inner voice, when it comes in small ways, turn left, turn right, look down. The more what I've practiced listening to it, the stronger it gets, the easier it is to hear and to tune in to find where is the way open, where is the way I need to follow or make, not even follow, but in flow. Where is the flow?
Yeah. I mean, we've all had those times in our lives where maybe something felt right to go in one direction, but our head and our framework, or maybe
some practical something,
second guessed it or decided that it made more practical or logical sense to go in a different direction. And even though something in our heart, something right here feels stifled when we move in that direction, often, we've all done that, to one degree or another.
Yeah.
And in the end, that other direction, even though it didn't quite look as clearly logical, felt open here, felt good, had us feel more alive. And when we have taken those leaps, they often feel like leaps because we can't see it as logically. Maybe because we're not in control of it all, right? There's a lot, maybe we're a part of a larger plan that we can't conceive of in our smaller minds,
perspective,
one smaller perspectives. If we go with those, and then we are rewarded, as I have had much experience doing, so many quote unquote leaps of faith that felt right though too, that I've taken, that it just, immeasurable, the universe responds immeasurably to that. And I think the more, like you're saying, that you just do that even in a conscious practice in daily life of, I walked or I left that, whether on a hike or something, it's like, I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Mhm,
Don't disregard it.
mhm,
Go back
mhm.
or stop and think of it. And something will come to you. It's like, oh, there was a reason I had that thought.
Mhm.
The more we do that, it builds that muscle, and we become much more able to quickly discern our paths.
So that, I mean, taking it even into those bigger places is that, I continue to work with this in larger ways so that I can find myself following and landing in places where I'm needed in moments.
Yes.
So that we each can fulfill our work.
Our purpose here. I mean, that's getting back to the fact that we are all a part of a larger plan. However you want to conceive of it, but it's pretty evident that we're all interconnected in a larger perspective than just ours in our lives. So if we can acknowledge that and keep that conscious as we move through life, then we might be able to just be a bit more guided by something immaterial, or not immaterial, that's a better, something non-material, that is still a beacon, still a direction. Sorry,
Well,
are you gonna?
I'm looking
Oh,
for something.
She's getting on her phone.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, she's texting while
It had me
I'm
think of a verse about the star, but I'll
Okay.
see if it comes.
okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
so, and it's exciting. I've talked to a lot of people, who are going through transition right now. So many people I know are going through transition, and people are using language like, I feel I'm being stationed here at a certain point that they've decided to move to, completely unexpectedly. And I think that we are all being stationed. If we're listening to that, we're able to then be directed to our position in this exciting new shift.
Where I know myself being asked to let go of things that have been part of my world, or
Yeah.
comfortable in some way, or parts of myself. There are I have this picture of just the unfurling, that it all kind of, things can fall away so that there's a new emergence, a new birth, growing from it's the phoenix of the ashes,
of
or
course.
the rising out. So
But to be to embrace that falling away, because
yeah,
this is the point. This is why we're here. We're here to grow. We're here to unfold. We're here to change. We're here to, let's experience a lot. Let's adventure, right? So let's, if one can embrace this spirit more of adventure and the excitement of that, rather than the contracting impulse to hold on to what's comfortable, our ease.
Mhm.
Ease isn't
not all it's
isn't
cracked up to
necessarily
be.
a fulfilling life.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Well,
So
and that also brings, just with that picture of the falling off, like shedding layers, as I get older, appreciating the more I'm able in life, in circumstance, in relationship, able to be quiet and to actively perceive without the layers of density, that block perceiving
yeah,
with another, so that things can truly become more flow, more movement, more clear reflections.
and more conscious. I think that's very much what it's about. And when you are more conscious, when we are more conscious of our motivations, our reactions, our flaws, our patterns, our negative tendencies, positive tendencies, or whatever, when we become conscious of that and just stop for a moment and examine them, it allows us to, do what we want with them and keep moving on, rather than,
Getting stuck and
Yeah.
oppressing ourselves. in
yeah,
those
and
places.
getting stuck in patterns,
Mhm.
right?
And I feel like we're
we are
veering a bit,
meandering.
but with that, also those places of our hindrances, our weaknesses, our stucknesses, where the more I have the courage to observe those, the more I can pull out the strengths out of those places, those habits, those kind of inverted strengths become those weaknesses, but there's something in there to let shine forth, which then can
Become what it was supposed to be.
right
To
rather than
fulfill
being
more of your
distorted.
potential, rather
Or
than
and our
exactly.
being, right? The more each one of us does this work, the more the whole shines.
Yeah,
So it's kind of exciting. to
it
think
is.
about.
It's a super exciting time. it is. It's a super exciting
It
time.
is. And depending on the mood, the state of mind, that can be very, I mean, I know for myself, moments where I feel a fear come, and then it's like, oh, what's that? Here we go. Now let's get back into that. Where's that contracting coming from? Oh, open that up again.
Yeah.
So that we
Which-
keep moving.
That, and also, I mean, I know I'm going on all these tangents, but back to being a part of the whole, each one of us having our purpose, our path within the whole. I think that it is facilitated. If we can keep that in mind, we can get a little more released of that fear, right? That I'm, if I can surrender a little bit and let go, yes, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. Let go and have faith that we are
yeah.
part of something larger, and then just let go a little bit and be guided.
Yeah.
Even with that fear, right? And understanding fear, we all know this intellectually, hard to put it into practice, but it just contracts. Fear does not really facilitate much, except for making sure you're not eaten by the lion. But most of the fears that get manifested these days, I think, in the world that we live in, the society we live in, are more contracting fears that probably hamper our thinking process and our flow
And our ability to be connected.
Yeah. Sure.
And what, in terms of fear, I'm thinking of what am I learning, how when those things come, doing something, just doing something moves the fear.
Yeah. Right.
So it changes the construction of one's space, the way I'm holding myself or being affected by what's around me.
Yeah.
If I move something different,
Even if you just go for a walk.
go for a walk or
go
wash
wash
the
some
dishes.
It's funny because I was thinking then you're also doing something constructive and purposeful. You're reminding yourself of your capacity as a human being to be purposeful.
It actually makes me think of, do you remember those Orson Scott Card books, the Alvin Maker series?
Which I just tried to get them into. Interesting.
Which the character
won't
who's
go.
a maker, and is always conscious or comes conscious that the unmaker is always trying to unmake. And so when those movements of unmaking are coming in, he would weave a little grass basket or make something.
Wow.
So
creation
countering
creation versus destruction, right?
And so we each are here with that gift. And that's
Yes.
part of that inner star to outer star. We've been given this gift to be creating as well.
Yes.
So let's be courageous in our creating and practice strengthening, because we all hear it. The nature of reality is good and intelligent.
Yes.
And being in that, one with it,
Yes.
will get us all right where we need to be.
Indeed. All right. Let me see if I can turn this thing off.